No one could understand why she kept setting a plate for an empty chair. Every single night, she set one extra plate at the dinner table. The strange part, no one ever sat there, yet she never stopped setting it. She cooked enough for two. She poured two glasses of water. She carefully straightened the empty plate as if she was expecting someone. No one understood why. After dinner, she never cleared that place. Instead, she quietly stared at the empty chair. Some nights, her eyes filled with tears. Other nights, she simply smiled through that silence. What was she waiting for? The neighbors whispered, "She hasn't moved on. Grief has changed her." They judged the story without ever asking what the empty chair really meant. One evening, her teenage son couldn't hold the question any longer. "Mom, why do you keep setting that extra plate?" The room fell completely silent. She looked at the chair, then back at her son. A gentle smile appeared through her tears. She slowly shook her head. "This plate isn't for your father." Her son frowned. If it wasn't for him, then who was it for? She gently rested her hand on the empty chair. "The day your father went to heaven, this house felt unbearably empty. Every room reminded me of what I had lost. I thought I would never feel whole again. Then one night I opened my Bible and I read these words: 'I will never leave you nor forsake you.' That's when I realized your father wasn't coming home, but I was never eating alone. This chair reminds me that God's presence fills every place grief tries to empty." Tears filled the young man's eyes. Without saying a word, he reached across the table and held his mother's hand. For the first time, he wasn't looking at an empty chair. He was looking at a faith that refused to become empty. Maybe your chair looks different. Maybe it's a bedroom that feels too quiet, a phone that never rings anymore, a seat at church someone used to fill, or a dream that never came true. If grief has convinced you that you are alone, listen carefully. God doesn't always remove the empty chair. Sometimes He sits beside it, and when He does, even the deepest loss can no longer steal your hope because His promise has never changed. Hebrews 13:5 says, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." If this story reminded you that God is still with you, share it with someone who needs hope today. And follow Narrow is the Way for more stories that points hearts back to Jesus.